Everybody ready on that end? The subcommittee will come to order. Good morning, everyone. I am pleased to be here today for our third subcommittee markup in the 118th Congress. Today, we're marking up 11 bills. For all of them, I will be asking unanimous consent to consider them en bloc. All these bills have had a subcommittee legislative hearing this Congress. I am supportive of all the bills on today's agenda, and I hope everyone will join me in supporting these bills. In accordance with committee rules, the subcommittee has contacted the Congressional Budget Office seeking informal preliminary cost estimates for each of these bills being considered today. These preliminary scores are only a range of potential costs. None of these bills today include the offset that would be necessary to move the bills forward through the full committee. We will need to find offsets to ensure that that we can get these important proposals through and are keeping our fiscal house in order. If we cannot find an offset for the bill, we will not be able to consider it in full committee markup. I look forward to working with Ranking Member Pappas and other members of the subcommittee to find reasonable offsets for these bills. I note that one of the minority bills that we addressed at the legislative hearing has not been introduced, so it is not up for consideration today. This bill, as well as H.R. 7883, aims to decrease the number of unnecessary toxic exposure-related disability compensation exams. I'm committed to working together with my colleagues across the aisle to find a bipartisan solution that would take into account both these bills. I am proud of the bipartisan work this subcommittee continues to do, and I believe these bills that we are considering today truly reflect that process. One of the bills that we are considering today, H.R. 7777, the Veterans Compensation Cost of Living Adjustment Act of 2024. This bill would give a necessary cost of living adjustment to the veterans and survivors receiving certain VA benefits. There's another bill, 7919, the Veterans Claims Quality Improvement Act of 24 would ensure that veterans receive accurate and fair decisions when they make an appeal on their VA benefits. Each year, thousands of veterans receive inaccurate claims decisions from the VA Board of Veterans Appeals. The bill would ensure that the board implements effective quality control and training programs. The bill would also ensure the board is held accountable for the errors that the board makes if they make over and over again. Veterans wait years for final decisions on the board, and each veteran deserves high-quality decisions. I hope that the members of the subcommittee will vote in support of all the bills to ensure veterans are fully compensated for the benefits they have earned. I look forward to working with Ranking Member Pappas on these bills and the other bills being marked up today to ensure that we are doing the right thing for our veterans and their families. I now recognize the Ranking Member for his opening statement.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I really appreciate the bipartisan nature of the work leading up to this markup today. I know there's some disagreement about the cost and scope of a few of these bills, but I'm confident that we can continue to work together to address those issues and deliver the best legislation possible for our veterans. So thank you to yourself, Mr. Chairman, and your staff for working in a bipartisan manner on this legislation today, and we look forward to seeing these bills advance to the full House. In particular, I'm very interested in finding a path forward on H.R. 1083, the Caring for Survivors Act, introduced by Representative Hayes, and H.R. 3651, the Love Lives On Act, introduced by Representative Phillips. I understand that both of these bills carry significant costs. However, I hope this body can see fit to move forward with these bills as they are the right thing to do, not just for our veterans, but for their survivors and dependents as well. In that same vein, I'm pleased to join you once again in introducing the annual Veterans Compensation Cost of Living Adjustment Act, this year H.R. 7777, which would adjust several benefits for veterans for inflation. Maintaining the buying power of veterans' benefits is critical to ensuring that those who have served us receive just and meaningful compensation for their service. Additionally, it's vital that we continue to discuss legislation regarding the appeals at both the Board of Veterans' Appeals and the Court of Appeals for veterans' claims. I think there are some very common sense tweaks that can be made to those systems that would speed up and smooth out the process of claims moving through the appeal system. But as I said at our legislative hearing last week, we must move carefully to avoid any unintended consequences. Likewise, we must absolutely continue to find a way to address overdevelopment of claims at the Veterans Benefits Administration. This is a widely acknowledged problem, particularly with respect to toxic exposure risk activity claims and the ordering of extraneous compensation and pension exams. Unfortunately, the solutions aren't quite so readily agreed on, so I hope we can put our heads together with the stakeholders and find a way forward that results in not just faster claims processing, but a more convenient system for veterans that results in greater claims, grant rates, and increased access to health care and benefits. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to continuing to work with you on these issues, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Pappas. I now ask unanimous consent to consider the en bloc the following bills that have amendment in the nature of a substitute, H.R. 2911 and H.R. 7816. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Clerk shall report the bills.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute.
The bills were circulated in advance pursuant to the Rules Committee. I ask that the reading of the bills be dispensed with and all bills be open to amendment at any point without objection. So ordered. I recognize myself to say a few words about the bill. This bill ensures reviews on whether amounts of life insurance coverage are keeping pace with the inflation faced by our veterans and families, make the VA claims and appeals process more understandable for veterans and their survivors by providing with them a clear update and instruction. I am supportive of these important bills. Encourage my colleagues to join me. Do any members wish to comment on the en bloc? Hearing none, there are amendments in the nature of the substitute to these bills which will be considered base text for purpose of markup. Without objection, so ordered. Does any member wish to offer an amendment to any of the amendments in the nature of a substitute? Hearing none, the question now occurs on agreeing to the amendment in the nature of a substitute included in the en bloc. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Without objection, the motion is reconsidered. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I'll now recognize Mr. Pappas for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that en bloc number 1 consisting of, or are we on the ANS right now? Is that it? Okay. En bloc number 1 consisting of ANS to HR 2911 and ANS to HR 7816 be forwarded favorably to the full committee.
There's a motion to favorably forward all the bills included in the en bloc, including these bills as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the bills as amended are favorably forwarded to the full committee. Without objection, the motion is reconsidered. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now ask unanimous consent to consider en bloc the following bills: H.R. 1083, H.R. 3651, H.R. 7100, H.R. 7150, H.R. 7777, 7883, 7917, and H.R. 7919. Hearing no objections, so ordered. The clerk shall report the bill.
H.R. 1083.
The bills were circulated in advance pursuant to the committee rules. I ask the reading of the bills be dispensed with and the bills be open to amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. I recognize myself for a moment. These bills would ensure that veterans receive faster and more accurate decisions on their claims for VA benefits for the VA Board of Veterans Appeals and the Veterans Benefits Administrations. Ensure veterans' benefits keep pace with inflation, provide veterans with more choices to control how and when their claims are processed by VA, thus building on the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017. Improve access to VA benefits for veteran spouses after the loss of their loved one, and increase the compensation that survivors are eligible for. Decrease the number of unnecessary disability compensation examinations that are causing delays in the claims processing, and ensure the VA gives equal attention to the needs of our nation's veterans as well as their survivors. Do any members wish to comment on the bills included on the en bloc? Mr. Self, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I want to comment on an important bill. This is H.R. 7883, the Toxic Exposures Examination Improvement Act. They are more complicated. These exams are more complicated than the regular disability compensation exams. My bill would cut down on unnecessary TARA exams that waste time and resources. I'm going to cut to the chase here. First of all, it proposes that VA only obtain a TARA exam when the evidence is insufficient to make a decision on the claim for disability compensation. Even if they don't get a TARA exam, they will get a regular, less complicated disability compensation exam when it is uncertain. Secondly, we also clarify by defining entry into the DoD's EILER system by any entry indicating toxic exposure. These are two important changes, but I want to emphasize that this bill will substantially save and cut costs. This is somewhere several $1 billion that might be used in offsets, which is exactly what this committee has been wrestling with now throughout my tenure. So right now, if we have a new cost bill, we simply extend the VA home loan fee for veterans to pay for it. This means that veterans are paying for every new program. And I think this gives us an opportunity to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. I urge passage of this bill, both for the advantages it brings and for the cost savings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Self. I now recognize Mr. Pappas for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that en bloc number 2, consisting of H.R. 1083, H.R. 3651, H.R. 7100, H.R. 7150, H.R. 7777, H.R. 7793, H.R. 7883, H.R. 7917, and H.R. 7919 be forwarded favorably to the full committee.
Thank you, sir. There is a motion to favorably forward all the bills included in the en bloc. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the bills are favorably forwarded to the full committee. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I ask unanimous consent that the committee staff be authorized to make technical, clerical, and conforming changes to the bills favorably forwarded today. Hearing no objection, so ordered. I thank all the members for their attendance today, and the subcommittee is adjourned.